All right, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. You have reached the channel of ReadySetCrypto. This is Doc and Mav. Today on Wednesday, the 31st of August. Welcome aboard. When you get a chance, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button and let us know where you're coming in from. And we'll get started here in just a couple of minutes. So typically our format for this is we'll get everybody in, get everybody sitting around. And we'll start out with a few words of wisdom from Mav. And then if you want to, you chat in your ticker symbols that you want to see. And I'll go ahead and throw those up on the chart and opine what I think the possibilities are for that. So welcome aboard, everybody. Glad you're in the room. Mav, how you doing?
Hello, hello. Testing to see if there's no echo.
Yeah, I think we got the echo fixed, so you guys can let us know when you check in if Mav's audio is better than it was a couple weeks ago. I went and played hooky last week. I was up in Maine on the shore. That was kind of cool, but we're back in the heat now. All right, let's see. We got Rajith checking in. We got Mike checking in as well too. Hey guys, welcome aboard.
Big guy. Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, hey, hey.
The meme that never dies.
It cannot die.
Saitama, is that that's just outside of like Tokyo proper, right? I think. Don't quote me on that. We'll see if we get those beans back. We'll talk about that today. Yeah.
Hey, Mark from Switzerland. Welcome aboard. Nobody's complaining about the audio so far, so either they can't hear you at all or it's okay. We got Buckhorn coming in from Little Rock. Mark, it's Kansas. London signing in. All right, Sodium. Way to go. I've been watching a series on Amazon about the two different teams that are up in the north, Tottenham Hotspurs and Arsenal. I don't know anything about the teams, but it's kind of fascinating. It's kind of like the same thing as what Netflix did with Formula One. Good, good. Thank you, Aussie Slade. Looks like we got our audio sorted out. Dinko coming in from Zagreb. Fantastic. All right. Guys, don't forget, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button. Let everybody else know what's coming up. Mav, what you got, man? Let us know what you think about today's market.
Well, what do I think about today's market? I think it is, that's a lot of green, right? There's a fair amount of green on that screen. But if you actually look at the percentages, at least over the performance of one day, it's not really much to write home about. We do 7-day performance here. Yeah, a little bit more cherry, but that's okay. I think what we saw was just a very small little bull rally. And then, reality set in. Obviously, the Fed did what it's going to do. And hey, that's how it's pretty much gone this entire year. So shouldn't be too shocked. But it was nice to see Bitcoin and the greater crypto markets at least do something more than, just a couple percentage points. To see it actually go up by, Bitcoin and do a couple $1,000. Hey, it's I'll take it. It's that nice midsummer little sugar rush before we get it into the sort of the dark part of the year in terms of Bitcoin and crypto's performance. It's generally around this time we just traditionally, historically see that there's not much going on. And I think the markets are reflecting that. I think we're all kind of in a holding pattern while we're seeing what the Fed is going to do next. And right now it looks like 75 basis points are the state of play. And until the Fed gets a little bit more dovish, I think we're going to continue to see this up and down, sideways pattern that doesn't make anybody really that happy. But hey, that's that's kind of the state of things. Meanwhile, just from the news side of things, over on cryptopanic.com, obviously I should zoom in on this a little bit more, but not much to talk about. There's not much that is going on today, or just in general with crypto right now. It's a summer lull. We're coming out of that, and not much to talk about, except, hey, we got something pretty big coming up now, 12 days away. So less than 2 weeks out. That's the merge. So what is the merge? When is the merge? Why is the merge? All great questions. So basically, the merge is it's the big update, the big upgrade that Ethereum has basically been working on for the last, call it like, I don't know, 5 years, or really it's been in perpetual sort of like, getting ready to get ready, almost seems like, for especially the last couple of years. You can kind of see here, this is a rough timeline of the recent events related to the merge, getting ready for that big upgrade, getting, testing things, getting everything sorted. And I'm not going to get into too many details here about what's happening. I'm more interested in where, the sidewalk ends, here be dragons, because no one was really talking about this. We had our stream, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, where I talked about, hey, now we're in a recession. What comes after that? Why is no one talking about that, especially as it relates to crypto's performance? I want to say the same thing about what comes after the merge. Everyone seems to be really confident that this is going to boost Ethereum's price. It probably will. It's going to be one of those, nice little hype events, and, kind of like the halving. It's going to have its own little, I don't know, just a party, if you will, for a very short amount of time. And then, hey, we'll correct back down, and that's how it goes. No, just like the halving, the Bitcoin halving, it's not really measured in the moment. It's what comes afterwards. Usually the sort of supply side sort of effects on Bitcoin's halving schedule, and how that just sort of percolates into the miner supply schedule, and how that factors into the overall market dynamics. That doesn't play out until about a year or so after the halving event. And I would say there's a pretty similar timeline operating here with Ethereum's merge. This is, in a lot of ways, quite like the big halving event, if you will. Very different dynamics, obviously, at play here. This is more of an upgrade than anything. But what is very exciting about this is that Ethereum is going to proof of stake. This is simplified. This is the timeline, or what conceptually they're trying to do here. They're going from proof of work to proof of stake, yada, yada, yada. You've probably heard that before. But what this is so crucial towards is like what comes afterwards. And I know I keep saying that, but like what that means from a feature perspective, I think is pretty exciting, because yeah, proof of stake has been a thing for, like the better part of a decade now. It's not this new novel concept, but it will change the dynamics, I think, of the crypto space. Now, there is, I say, scant criticisms or really like analysis as to like, hey, all well and good that we're doing this proof of stake thing, all well and good that we're limiting the environmental supply, damaging effects of Ethereum. And, there's a lot of positives to moving to proof of stake and the upgrade that Ethereum is going to for. But like, what are the downsides? Is anyone really talking about that? And yes, this is Bitcoin Magazine. Obviously is going to be a little bit biased towards this concept, but I think this article does a really good job. It's the Ethereum merge, risk, flaws, and pitfalls of centralization. And that's truly what's at play here, is that because they've implemented I don't know if it's arbitrary or whatever, but like there's a 32 ETH sort of, call it, limit or requirement to do the staking. That isn't just naturally going to play out in terms of more centralization to the network. More of the supply is going to centralize around, sort of the big whales, the big wallets, and, sort of the have-nots, the people that come after the merge, who, inherit Ethereum 5-10 years down the road. They're not going to be in a position to acquire 32 ETH. It's just going to be outside of the realms of most people's means. And, that's something that's kind of been playing out in Bitcoin's case too. Just today, we saw over 900,000 wallets now have over 1 Bitcoin, which is pretty cool that, it's that decentralized in some way. There's going to be a degree of that with Ethereum as well. But yeah, I think we're going into somewhat uncharted territory here, especially with a network, a platform as big as Ethereum. And we should be asking the critical questions of, is this really for the best, or who's going to ultimately benefit from this? So that's one aspect that I don't see enough people talking about. But the other part is what comes afterwards. What is the merge sort of unlock other than just, upward price potential? Because obviously that's what most of us are here for. Well, there's some really cool things. One of them is the Ethereum Shanghai update. This is going to come a couple of months after the merge goes through. So assuming that everything goes hunky dory and 12 days from now we are seeing mainnet on merge, everything is green light. The mainnet, the merge goes well. Then a couple of months down the road, we'll do Shanghai and withdrawals. And this is a major de-risking event that will result in a surge of stakers, which is good. We need more of that. It's going to get out of some of the centralization that's happened leading up towards the merge. It's a nice positive step. There's, again, some caveats, but I think this is, a natural next step. I think what's really cool is another thing that's coming pretty soon after that is EIP 4884. And I'm not gonna go too much further onto this stuff. If you're not like an Ethereum maxi, or you don't care about the stuff, you just care about the price, totally understand. I'm just saying, these are some cool things. Look into them if you want to. I think they're very interesting. It gives you a whole nice perspective as to what's going to be the next big thing coming down the pipeline. What are we going to be talking about in 2023 as it relates to Ethereum? Because obviously, the moment that the merge hits, okay, now it's going to be all about the halving. Sure, yes, but we've got to have other things in the crypto space. It can't just be something that's 2 years out. And this, I think, is going to be one of them. This is as an example of Vitalik and Ethereum's community, which Doc and I were talking before the stream. Stay away from crypto Twitter right now. I would not recommend that. Just don't look it up. It's proto dank sharding. It's the implement. Yeah. I can't say that with a straight face. But what this will do is massively reduce rollup fees by changing the transaction types. Basically, it's just making Ethereum more efficient. And there's a whole lot of mumbo jumbo here, jargon, but it's good. It's good. It's stuff we like to see. Same with statelessness and state expiry. This helps with scalability and decentralization. We're also going to see multiple ethical MEV relays, or miner extracted value relays. This is good for anti-censorship and just trying to make sure that Ethereum remains decentralized as much as possible. One you might have heard before is ZK Snarks, which is all about scalability, some privacy aspects there. You'll have quantum security. This is about future-proofing with quantum computers. Basically, once we get through this huge thing that Ethereum has been working towards for the last however many years, the merge, this is the big thing. It's still going to take some time to play out. It's not going to be done, but this is a big deal. And it's one of those milestone moments in crypto's history that obviously the crypto market's down. The fanfare is not exactly where it was a year ago, but this is one of those big moments that we'll look back on and say, that was a critical moment. That was something that really defined the future of Ethereum, of the crypto space, of development in crypto. Just something that we'll look back on and say, yeah, that was something very important, even if at the time it was cool. And it's one of those things that once it's done, it sort of opens the gates for more things to come. So this is when I hope that we'll see the smart contract space start to get hyper competitive, and we'll start to see things get this is where the build market starts to get back in play, because now Big Daddy Ethereum is finally moving forward. It's no longer in this forever in development mode. It's finally shipping something, which is really cool to see. And we can get back to seeing, the space just involve that, like continue to update and continue to address some of the core issues and things that's held it back from institutional like adoption as well as retail adoption. Just really cool stuff. So that's all to say, like, yeah, very tech heavy, very, maybe boring if you're not into that kind of stuff, but something you should be aware of, because it's definitely, if you haven't seen people talking about it, they definitely will be over the next 2 weeks, because it's just one of those huge events it's going to change the space forever. So pay attention to it, and yeah, hopefully it goes well. But that's it from my perspective. Doc, what are you seeing from the markets? Obviously, we dipped below 20,000 and then came back up. No one could have predicted that. I mean, like, what's going on here?
Yeah, it's trying to find some support. It is definitely trying to find some support. Okay, let's take a look. I've got. If you guys want to write in and let me know what assets you want me to take a look at, I'd be happy to do that. Oh, look out! Avert your eyes. It is. I don't know what her first name is, but that is the Cleveland Fed President Mester, and so she was responsible for crushing the market today, because these guys have their blinders on. It's almost like they're going to run this thing right off the cliff, and they're just going to keep raising rates. So what'll be interesting is to see what happens with the jobs report this Friday. So the U.S. jobs report will let us know as to whether or not this is having an effect on employment. Now, the last meeting that we had, or the last number from last month, was a huge employment number. So that's what is keeping the Fed in play, is like there doesn't seem to be any destruction from a employment perspective. So this is what Mav was talking about. He's talking about Bitcoin, like just trying to hold that 20,000 level. But this is we have bear flags within bear flags within bear flags setting up right now. And I wouldn't be surprised to see this take a quick dip down. If it does dip down, it's going to go down to maybe 14,000. That's the next level. So hopefully this holds up. This is a very super strong, this goes back to 2017, this pivot that's being tested right now. So we're hoping that holds out. Okay, let's go into some of the requests that you guys have sent in. So HNT, let's go into the crypto. All right, HNT versus US dollar. I don't see any support here. I have not seen any support from this since really the spring. So I would say, excuse me, I would say this one's on a void for right now. We are on a void on HNT for right now. EWT. So a lot of these are basing out recently. Like here's a good example of a base being built. This is kind of this, you could call this a cup with handle setting up. And I want to see this break above probably 550 to 6 on really good volume. So look at the volume starting to perk up here on this one. If it's able to break up and above this on 550, this would be the upside target is the depth of the cup of this. So if you extrapolate that forward up to here, we have a target up somewhere around 950 to 10. So that's not a bad play on EWT. So who wrote on it? Was that Aussie Slade, I think? Okay, Litecoin is the next one. So LTC. This one is starting to build a base, but it's having difficulty doing so. We've got a potential buy point on this one of about 66 right now, but that's going to be obviated if this breaks down and goes down to 40 again. So, yeah, LTC right now needs to, it would certainly help to get above the 200-day moving average, which is in green. So that represents the mean of price movement. Right now, we're still below the mean. So we can get mean reversion from time to time. And that may be that all that we're going to get for right now on Litecoin. There's not been a whole lot of excitement on that asset. Okay, let's take a look at Hex. Hex versus USDC, Uniswap. All right, so here's an example of a base building that failed, unfortunately. This one looked really good to be building this sort of rounded base up here. And this would have been the buy point for it, but it failed over the last week. And the volume has come in on the failure. So watch the volume. Which way does the volume come when the price is moving right now? That volume is pointing down, unfortunately. So this can still rescue itself, but it's going to have to get up and going here. Right now, this is not one that I would chase after unless it's able to break above this 0.08 level on really good volume. Okay, let's see what's next here. We have DAG, and I don't recall what this one is. So this is Constellation. Here's another one. This is the same pattern that we're seeing. This was building a nice base here, building a nice base, looking for the breakout, cup with handle, and then it failed. It failed on bigger volume. So this one is an avoid for right now unless it can get above and beyond 12 cents. So we see a lot of these coins with the same exact pattern. Okay, let's see. Ash Vol, I just did EWT. Nicholas will do Solana. Let's see if I already have it listed down here. Solana, there we go. Versus the US dollar. This was another one where we had an extended base setting up and we've failed over the last week or two. We've had a failure, and this is when, the dollar just keeps on going higher right now. So we've had a failure. We were looking to go long at 49. We did not get the signal for that one. This one's on a void until it can get above and beyond 49 to 50. All right, the Mighty Chainlink. Here we go. Mighty Chainlink. Where is this one? It's right down here. Chainlink also has failed a base build. We were looking really good on this base build, and a break above, I'd say about 10 would be great here. We had a failure there, technical failure. To show you an example of something that has broken out nicely, this is an example of a base build which is actually broken out. Now, this is just Leo versus the dollar. This is Bitfinex. We could probably pick a better exchange for this one, but not great volume, but nice pattern, nice positive pattern that we're seeing. Okay, let's see. That's Chainlink. Pancake Swap. So let's go over to the Mighty Cake. Okay, Cake versus Tether. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, so this one has not absolutely failed yet. Here's the base that you want to be breaking out above, and that's 5. You want to stay out of this thing until it can break above 5 on good volume. So it has had a failure here, but not too bad so far. And we did get some good volume on the way back up. So you want to see good volume as it breaks out above 5 if it's able to do that. So basically what you're going to do is just go over here onto TradingView, if that's your charting platform of choice. Do a right click here, and you can add an alert at this price level and write yourself a note and say, hey, this is Cake versus USDT. It's crossing $5, and you can alert yourself. You can send email. You can send a webhook. You can do all kinds of stuff. This is a great package. To let yourself know, because typically the problem is you forget about these things. So you've got to automate these alerts as you see them. Can I analyze ADA? I can. I don't even need a reason. Okay, so this is Cardano. Cardano has a similar failure pattern over here. I would say at this point, I want to see this thing above 70 cents. Because this to me is the base that needs to be built above 70 cents, and it will also break above the 200-day moving average. So right now this is on a void. There's a failure, pattern failure at this point to the downside. I would look for 70 cents on the breakout. Okay, let's see. Rose, what is that one? Rose has got, that's not Thorchain. What is this? I always forget what the name of this asset is. Okay, so this one has also had, and I'm sure you guys are going to chat in and let me know. So here's the base on this one, which is about 12 cents. We've had a failure off of this one. I would avoid, look at the volume coming in on the way back up. So this looked great, right? But it got faded when everything else went down, when the Fed went crazy. So if it's able to break above 12 cents, you're good to go. Oh, that's right. Oasis. Thank you very much. Okay. You know, Aussie Slate brings up something. September is a notoriously bad month. I would say September, the latter part of September and October are bad. The latter part of September and October are bad, but the latter part of August has not been that great so far. Okay, the last one here. No. Let's see. I've got another one here from Brian. Near Protocol. Let's look at Near Protocol. This is the same pattern as everything else, but it looks to be kind of digging itself out. I want to see volume here, Brian, as it gets above 6. And this is another one where you can set up an alert as it breaks above, add an alert as it breaks above 6. That's your entry, but it's got to do so on good volume. And it's got some work to do to get up and over the 200-day moving average as well, too. And let's finish out today. This is the last one I'll do, is the DXY. Okay, that is the dollar index. So we're going to look at the dollar index. This thing has been on fire, especially since the invasion of Ukraine has been on fire. And each one of these has been, you can see kind of that base, right? This is the same thing that we've been looking at. This base here, cup with handle base, explodes. Next one, cup with handle, looking for the next leg. So we're going to be fighting against this as long as the dollar goes higher like this. We're going to be fighting against this index, especially if we trade versus the US dollar or Tether. We're going to be fighting against this with crypto because basically when we're trading crypto, you're going to be long the asset, short the dollar, and if the dollar continues higher, that's going to be working against your trade. Okay, so Aussie, I'll give you one last one here. Ethereum, where do I think this is going? This has got to break out, so I've got a long signal. This is an aggressive long signal at 1714. Very aggressive, where it may fail, right? But if this gets going, we should see this, I would say, all right, volume profile is great for this answer, right? So look at this. So this is where your resistance is. This is a black hole. If the price is able to get above and beyond 2,000, it will run up to 3,000, right? That's mighty attractive. So this could be, the resistance will start to come in around 2,400 to 2,500, but this is a black hole here. If the price is able to get going, this will surprise a lot of people as it breaks above 2,000. Okay, guys, that is, let's break it off right there. I want to thank everybody for joining us here today. We like to keep these to about half an hour, so make sure next time, we do these every week, so go ahead and get your coins in for the next one and let us know. Otherwise, you can engage with us on any of our platforms that we have out there. We have ReadySetCrypto.com. We have ReadySet.trade, as well as ReadySet.vision. We have 3 platforms right now where you can engage with us for free, and we encourage you to join us and join the discussion. Mav, you got anything else to add to the party?
Yeah, just to give some insight as to some of the differences, like ReadySetCrypto.com obviously is focused on crypto, and sort of the keystone of that is our Omnia service, which means you get everything. You get the courses. Most importantly, you get our daily newsletter. I'm finishing up mine right now, and what I'm talking about today is obviously we're coming up to the end of the month, beginning of the month of September. And yeah, there's some big factors to be watching. Obviously, the title of today's stream and what I covered was around the Ethereum merge. But as is so quickly becoming the case, we have to look towards sort of the exogenous factors, what is outside of the crypto space that is influencing the crypto markets more so than like what's going on inside the space. It seems to be more the case that it's the outside factors this year. So, for example, we're following the big boy Powell's talk in Jackson Hole. We have to assume that there's going to be at least a 50 basis point rate hike September 20th or 21st, and the markets will probably suffer as a result. August CPI, comes out the 13th of September. It looks like inflation has peaked, at least here in the US, but in places like UK, it's 15%. There's still, they've got the the carnival going on right now. And it seems like it's chaos. Apologies to our friends in the UK. It just doesn't look like it's that fun. But very importantly, pumpkin spice just hit Starbucks, and that means it's midterm season. So that is what's going to be on everybody's mind right now. More so the pumpkin spice, less the midterms. I'm kidding. But seriously, though, it's going to be one for the history books. There is a lot at stake. Dark Brandon seems to be putting up, everything he can to try to win over prospective voters. And it really is going to signal kind of, where things are going to be going for the next 2 years leading up to our next presidential election. Fun times, politics. We love it. But regardless, yeah, it's as Doc was talking about, it's a challenging month. It's probably not going to be one that is fun for the bulls. But as we talk about often on this channel, because assets like Bitcoin are historically appreciating in value, the lower they go, the less risky they are to be purchasing into. So, it all comes down to your risk profile and what you value. But obviously, I think it's I see a deal when I see it go down, so I get happy about that. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Hang in there. It's going to be one of those months. It's going to be hopefully something we just kind of like grin and bear it, and we have bright horizons ahead. But until next week, and until we see each other again, take care out there, guys. Doc, you got anything else?
No, that's it for today. We'll see you next week, guys. Thanks, everybody.
All righty.
See you around. Bye now.